someone's forgot again. It's time to see how your pictures came out, Phil.
Look at her face. She's already more interested in me now that I'm super.
You thought it was over, that there were no more Lois Lane marriages left to experience? Think again. Now this one admittedly is a bit of an outlier and doesn't get as close to marriage as some of the others on the list, or in the playlist rather. But it is Superman's end goal when he sets it up. Yes, the thumbnail is not clickbait, and this Superman picks Lois Lane's husband, or tries to. This despite being desperately in love with her himself, which is also a change from most of the videos on this playlist. Why so different? The year. This story comes from the pages of Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane 132 from the year 1973. While the transition from the Silver to the Bronze Age was more gradual than the transition from the Gold to the Silver, 1973 is a year that most can agree upon as being firmly in the Bronze Age. While some label it as the start, some feel it already started, but 1973, bronze. So certain storytelling techniques have changed, and the social mores of course have changed as well. And the comics code had been loosened in 1971. All these things combine for a different Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane experience. A Lois who jumped straight into marriage because the man was handsome was no longer to be expected. Instead, there's more of a rise in angst-ridden melodrama. But there's also still vestiges of Silver Age silliness, only now it's being treated seriously. It makes for a fascinating experience, and in this case, a depressing one. This may be the saddest Lois Lane wedding from this playlist to date. Let's dive into the sadness. I'm Sash, this is Casually Comics, and you may have noticed that my eye makeup is doing a lot. I'm just gonna show you in case you saw. Also, because I want to, because I tried to recreate a look. It's a look from a Maisie Williams photo shoot. I tried. Feel free to roast, it's all good. Eyes looking better than Lois Lane's love life though. Our Lois Lane story is written by Cary Bates, who may sound familiar for fans of this channel because he also wrote a majority of the 70s Supergirl run that did have a strong focus on her having dates with boys who were never seen again. We did an entire retrospective on that series. If you missed that, of course I'll have a card in the link. The pencils are by John Rosenberger with Vince Coletta on inks. Robert Kanier edited this. The cover is delightfully melodramatic. Lois doing full television kiss, leg up in the back while Superman sadly walks away.
Lois doesn't know it, but I picked her husband.
Are Lois and Superman finished? No, but this comic almost is. It has 5 more issues until it's rolled into Superman family. Like many other girls, once in a while, Lois Lane enjoys a peaceful rowboat ride. I'm not like other girls. I don't go on rowboat rides. Lois and Superman are on shock and awe a date. They're actually being depicted as sort of together. Unlike some of the earlier comics in this era where it felt like the girlfriend, the title was a typo. He's rowing her through the sky to be extra when someone launches a missile at them. Superman has to rip the boat in half to save her and it shakes him up. It reinforces his belief that his enemies would seek to hurt him through Lois or any woman that he was with. Love Lois's dress, it's good. Don't worry about me, Superman, I'll be fine here, and be careful. Don't think I've ever seen Superman so angry, almost purple with rage. Purple where? Where the purple at? Superman deals with the crime syndicate who launched that missile at them, and then he heads to the Fortress of Solitude to mope.
More than ever, I realized I can never marry Lois. Lois has wasted enough years pining away for me. I know what I have to do.
Side note, in the video of Superman marrying Mrs. Plitlick, there were tons of jokes, which I read because it amuses me. Some just assumed that I had air in my brain and didn't realize that it was meant to be like a thought process. They're stumbling over their thoughts. They're so upset. It was not meant to be read aloud. And to that I say, yes, I'm aware. And also, if you can't laugh at people making odd noises and thought bubbles, what can you laugh at? Superman's matchmaking computer, that's what.
My ultra-advanced supercomputer contains punch card profiles in every eligible man in Metropolis.
Why do you have that, Clark? Why only the eligible bachelor's, Clark?
I'll supply it with a profile of Lois's personality.
A personality card filled out by someone else. I'm sure it'll be 100% accurate. Lois, meanwhile, has been given an assignment by a Mr. Olaroid, who has developed a fancy new state-of-the-art camera. Mr. Olaroid, do you get it? It's called the Olar X6, and he wants Lois to test it, and if she can figure out the secret, he'll donate $25,000 to charity. Does one have to do with the other? Superman has found the perfect man, for there is no better system for matchmaking than punch cards. It's Philip Carnes, a biochemist. A biochemist who is in the midst of developing Adrenaline X, an artificial adrenaline that could give humans super strength.
Of course, my Adrenaline X will be too dangerous to test on a human body at first, but...
And then Philip went through all the proper tests and procedures and nothing bad happened. The end. Superman needs Philip and Lois to meet. So does he use his Clark Kent connections to maybe kind of get a story going about this biochemist inventing this interesting adrenaline, and then him and Lois can maybe put on the assignment and then she can meet him that way? No, he does the much more rational thing of creating a mini tornado that sucks Philip out of his lab while he's working and then takes him and dumps him on a car in front of Lois as she's leaving work. Lois snaps a picture with her new experimental camera and then heads over. Priorities. Don't move till I've had a good look at you. I'm a part-time nurse.
Yes, Lois was also a nurse for a bit, and the comics acted like it was completely feasible for her to just be doing both all the time.
Superman's computer matchmaking skills are 10 out of 10 because they really do hit it off. He can have a nice side hustle there, hooking up people with all the eligible bachelors because that's all the people he's got. Philip and Lois start flirting, but it comes across as natural and not creepy. Oh, almost forgot about my film. It's been about 60 seconds. This picture should have developed itself by now.
Hope you photographed my best side, Lois.
But somehow the photo that is developed is a picture of Superman, despite the fact that the camera was pointed at Philip.
Let me treat you to a dinner, Lois. It's the least I can do since you ran to my aid.
You've got a deal, Phil. Meantime, maybe I'll figure out what's wrong with this camera. The date goes great, and they end up meeting every day for a week. For lunch, to go to museums, to visit the theater. I don't know why I put such an odd accent on that. It's going super well. What could ruin this? How can this go wrong? Gossip and insecurity. On a date in the park where Lois looks like she's living her best life, Philip overhears some gossiping busybodies. What's gotten into Lois Lane? Who'd have thought she'd forget about Superman and let an ordinary man court her? I suppose he's a nice looking fellow, but certainly no Superman. Yeah, just a handsome biochemist. Truly, Lois is settling for the very bottom of the barrel. Now, Lois hasn't mentioned missing Superman or anything. We actually don't get any of her thought bubbles for this, but what we do get are Phil's, and he's very bothered by what these old ladies have had to say because they mirror his own insecurities.
No, Superman is right. Lois is too kind to mention it, but I know these dates with me must be letdowns after being escorted by Superman.
No, trust me, I've read those dates. These dates are great.
How can I hope to match up with the mightiest hero on Earth?
It's time for mad science and adrenaline X. Not ready for human testing? Who cares? There are girls to impress, allegedly. She seems fine, like she's having a good time, but ignore that. While accompanying Lois on an assignment that suddenly turns into a train heist, Philip is able to show off his new super strength. Lois is stunned and of course snaps some pictures, because she wants proof after all. Pics or it didn't happen. She also demands an explanation, and Philip tells her he was developing this adrenaline X, and he just took some, upended the bottle, and it magnifies his strength times 100. But he doesn't tell her that if he overexerts himself after 24 hours, he'll die. How does he know that if this hasn't been tested? Who did you kill, Philip? Who died for Lois? Oops, almost forgot again. It's time to see how your pictures came out, Phil.
Look at her face. She's already more interested in me now that I'm super.
Maybe Philip should talk to somebody about his feelings of inadequacy or insecurity in this relationship because of Superman. Maybe even Lois herself. Perhaps he also should have thought about the fact that if he gave himself powers and became super, like her former boyfriend, it would make her think of her former boyfriend.
Adrenaline X gives me 24 hours to make Lois fall in love with me.
Is she not already? I haven't seen her pine about Superman once, or at least not audibly. However, once more the photos are of Superman. So she just runs with the "is there a second Superman" story without pics.
Did she mention Adrenaline X? I really hope not.
Clark sees the story for the first time, I guess because he was skipping out on work, and he's so bummed out.
Now Lois will be attracted to him even more.
Curse my amazing matchmaking skills. Curse them! The next day when Phil comes to pick up Lois, a getaway car drives right past her house, and she's on it, unleashing the fire hydrant, and then Phil steps in front of the car to stop it. Oh, Phil, you were magnificent. For a minute, I almost thought I was watching Superman himself.
It's no use. Instead of making Lois forget about Superman, my adrenaline powers keep reminding her of him. She's probably imagining it's Superman she's kissing right now, instead of me.
I'm worried about Phil. However, one of the goons is still conscious and goes to shoot them, and so Phil shoves her out of the way and then throws the car. But oh no, his untested formula, it was too much adrenaline, too much power. He's dying now. No, for real, he's dying.
All I wanted was for you to love me, like you love Superman.
But I do, Phil. I can prove it. Look at the picture. I finally figured out the secret of Dr. Olaroid's camera. The secret is that it's a useless Twilight Zone camera and he's gonna get sued. The real secret is that the front lens is a ruse and there's a secret lens in the back that reads your mind and it takes a picture of what you're thinking about. Why? Why would you want that? Credible reasons down below why you would want that. The photos are of Superman because she was thinking about him and not what was happening in front of her. But not that last photo. That last photo was of Phil. I mean, she could have also been thinking about Superman because every time she took a picture, something really dangerous was happening, and so it makes sense to be thinking, hey, maybe Superman should come and stop this. But that's not how it's presented in the story. It's presented as she was thinking about Superman because she loved him, and now she loves Phil, and that's why the picture's of him, so that he can die in time to see this picture. Now she loves Phil and he's dead, and he dies with the picture on his chest, and then it just ends. Issue 132, everybody. So this issue, lots of thoughts. This is a pretty sad story, and it leaves one on a depressingly empty note. It has an odd vibe because Lois is so relegated to the background. While earlier Lois stories, many of which we've covered in this vein, fall prey to some outdated tropes or views surrounding relationships, Lois was a key factor and part. You got to see her thoughts, and she was very active in the story. The Lois in this issue is a background character, and one never learns her thoughts as it pertains to her relationship with Phil. The men in the story either make decisions for her, like Superman, actively manipulating her love life, or Philip, making assumptions about her thoughts without ever talking to her. The whole thing ends up feeling like one of those morality plays, but what's the moral? Don't change yourself, love will come. Don't be a mad scientist. Don't use a matchmaking computer, they're too accurate. It's just tragic for tragic's sake, and well, Philip couldn't live. The comic is called Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane, not Superman's ex-girlfriend Lois Lane and her boyfriend Philip. It's extra sad because Philip is a decent guy who Lois appears to at least like. Yeah, she was still thinking about Superman, but it had only been a week. Society is to blame. Those old ladies activating his insecurity complex because of Superman. This is not one of the more fun Lois gets married outings, but it is an interesting time capsule of romantic melodramas of the 70s. I see potential for Philip, maybe not as a villain, but perhaps as a civilian character, a bitter ex. They could end up breaking up because of his insecurity. It eventually drives them apart. He's always making all these assumptions about what she thinks and feels, and they're not true, and she gets sick of it. Ooh, and then that could be exacerbated if after they break up, then she marries Clark, who ostensibly to people observing would be even less impressive than him or Superman. There's a story there. Maybe he ends up working for Lex because of his adrenaline X. Then he can end up accidentally creating some of the villains that Superman fights. I don't know. Poor Phil. He got very confusingly frizzed so that Lois could learn something, and $25,000 could get donated to a charity. I sure hope that Mr. Orleroyd actually did that. Poor Lois, she had no idea any of this was going on. She was just out there trying to do her job. What do you think of this story? Where does Philip rank on the list of Lois suitors? Tell me how you would use this camera and other things you're thinking of down below. And while you're down there, please do all the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking this fun hour day spent discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.